And we're back Sunday evening, 7:30 on the East Coast. We are back here with the Peach State Power Hour. I'm Harrison Reno. That's Andy Stowe, Eddie from Acworth. And we have the boss man, Radi Nabulsi, joining the Peach State Power Hour. Radi, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Fall camp has kicked off in Athens, and we thought, hey, fall camp being here, Radi's back in the States, might as well have the boss on.
Hey, I'm glad to be on with you guys. I mean, I can't hold a candle to the knowledge you guys bring, but I do appreciate you slumming with me and letting me be on the show. It's quite the honor. I do appreciate it very much.
Well, we begged Paul Mahary to get you on, but he kept saying no. So once we kicked him to the curb, you're here.
Shot taken early.
We're just saying,
we miss Paul.
Wow.
It's always fun to take a shot at him. No.
Jealousy is an ugly, ugly coat, Paul, and you need to stop wearing it so much.
He cloaks himself in that.
I'm sure I'm about to get a text that he's cussing me out. So,
Hey, Paul is still with us. He will be doing the post-game shows, but with his business taking off like it has, he's a busy man. I think he has 14 children now. I mean,
actually, he had one earlier.
He's working on 15. So,
well, I mean, it was only 2 legitimate, but he's, he was around before he got married. So there's a lot of little kids in Monroe that call Pinky Dad. So,
and it's completely going off the rails. Harrison, can you get us back on track here?
We're going to try. Gentlemen, fall camp started on Thursday. Kirby Smart met with the press on Thursday as well. Radi, we're going to kick it over to you in terms of that press conference. I thought this year's first press conference of the year, Radi, was very much a little bit more upbeat than from years past. Now, that can all change because, as we know, the post-practice pressure from Kirby is where we got the long way to go. Radi, what did you think of the first Thursday back?
No, you're right. It was a lot more positive. I think last year he let off. Dane Young looked this up. He said we have a few announcements. I think he named 8 different guys that were injured.
Oh gosh!
And then went into a couple disciplinary issues that they had because if you remember last season, between spring camp and first day of practice, just a litany of summer arrests that were not that good. And that's been an issue for some time. But he said that this time Georgia's going into the season pretty healthy. And I'm like, why? Why did you just say that, Kirby?
Yes, someone's going to clear an ACL this week. So.
Yeah, for the one of the most superstitious coaches, and if he tells you he's not superstitious, don't listen to him. Kirby does not like to change things. That's why you don't see a lot of black jerseys out there. There's a chance that they could have worn the black jerseys like he said they were going to every year. Then Eason gets hurt. He's going with Fromm as a true freshman. That game just pops up at the end of the season. It's like, okay, this is the black jersey game. He's like, no, we're not changing anything. Straight from a guy inside the equipment room. Kirby does not like to change stuff, and for him to come out and say, "Hey, we're really healthy," I'm like, this is how I jinxed Michael Bennett years ago when I mentioned on Twitter, this is the healthiest I've ever seen Georgia. And apparently 15 seconds later, he tore his ACL or something, in practice. So, but Kirby was I think he's not as frustrated as he has been in the past.
Yeah.
This time last year, tons of transfer portal issues. The transfer portal was just a god-awful time. They were still dealing with NIL. There was no end in sight to how the NIL was going to play out. It had a good July in recruiting, but they also had some very big misses, just like we had this July. But at least they're starting for good or ill. And that's what I'll say about Kirby Smart and his roster management. As long as there are rules in place, he will accept them. He may not like them, but if everybody has to abide by the same rules, Kirby will figure out a way to do it. He'll beat you with his team. He could beat you with your team. He's just really good at what he does. He just doesn't like it when there's one set of rules for his team or his situation and a different set in Texas or Penn State or Oklahoma or wherever. So I think you saw a little bit of, I don't want to call it optimism, but, Kirby was much more calm. He's not breaking in new coaches. First time he's not had to change, changing 4 coaches like he did last year. And he likes a lot of these kids. The tenor of this football club is a lot better than last year.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to rip on anybody. I'm not going to name names like Carson Beck. I wouldn't mention him and bring him up. I'm just saying there are some people who were distractions last year. Or not so much distractions as they weren't as dialed in. And he loves to have leaders. He loves to have other players calling, because he's on the mic all the time, but he wants other players to call out guys in their position group or across the way. And when you have Lawson Lucky yelling at defensive backs, outside linebackers, when you have Gunnar Stockton people, Nate Frazier calling people out, Micah Morris up there on the line doing his thing, Christian Miller calling people out, Dalen Everett saying, look, I came back. I could have gone pro. I came back. We're going to do something around. KJ Bolden in only year 2, a lot of sophomore leaders out there. He's like, okay, this is fun. When you have Justin Williams, Chris Cole, Raylan Wilson, CJ Allen in that linebacker group, those guys are fun to be around. He actually said this is a fun team. So in year 10, I think Kirby likes what he has. He likes his staff. He knows that all those tough games ahead, most of them are at home. And I think what you got was a sense of optimism. He doesn't have a bunch of named guys who, he's having to cater to or temper his instruction around because you doesn't want to scare them off or they're too big for their britches. He has a bunch of young, hungry guys, young, hungry coaches, and I think he's kind of content, and I think that came across. Now, I'm sure when we speak to him maybe next week, I don't know that we'll get him this week, he's going to talk about how these guys are terrible, how much they suck, how they'll never win a game, and we'll get that press conference, but it was a very upbeat press conference this past Thursday.
Well, Roddy,
you touched on it.
Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah. Well, Roddy, you say that about Kirby saying things and then in practice saying something completely different. He was talking about how great they were in shape during the press conference. I was walking by practice the other day. He was yelling at multiple people, "You're slow. You're not in shape. Let's go." So it is a complete different guy that was on the microphone. And when you're talking about on the microphone, I hear him every day around 3:00 starting to go nuts. So yeah, he is nonstop out there.
Well, he tore into a bunch of them while we were there. And now some of that, is he doing that for the press? Maybe. But you've been walking by. You've heard him light into these guys. There's a reason they don't let us do video. They let us take pictures, but we're not allowed to do video because of the way he talks.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't want that on audio. And he doesn't want to stop for the 10, 15 minutes that we're out there. So you're right. He'll talk in generalities. Overall, the team's in great shape. We got a bunch of guys they've hit great weight numbers. Their height and weight are good. They've done great advances in the weight room.
GPS
overall.
Yeah.
But hey, Michael Ooney, you're not where you need to be. Daniel Calhoun, you're not where you need to be. Josh, Jordan Hall, all those defensive linemen. And again, for us to look at him, we're like, man, that kid's in great shape. But in Kirby's mind, they're not doing anything fast enough, and it's so I'm with you. He will chew them out in practice, but even then, all the guys will say, listen to the message and not the tone, because the tone will make you cry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I want to cry when he's not even yelling at me. So
Yeah. And Roddy, you've touched on a lot of this already, but it's presser one, right? And but I go back to surly Kirby, and I heard a surly Kirby a lot last year. It just seemed like every time we had a press conference, he was that way. And I really heard none of that in his first presser. Like you said, until tomorrow, that could all change when you ask him a dumb question and he lays into you, and then we got surly Kirby back, right? Yeah. But my question is really about, am I reading too much into this, that maybe Coach Kirby Smart sees something in this team and he's really excited about it? Because I never really got that last year at all from any of the pressers. It just seemed, like I said, it could all change tomorrow and it could be ticked off. But is there maybe something in his mind? He's like, we got something special here, guys. Just wait and see.
When you talk to other people who have been around to see different schools, like John Gruden came in the other day.
Yeah.
I didn't talk to him. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just using him as an example of somebody who goes to see multiple schools. I do talk to NFL scouts. I talk to people in the media business who've gotten to go behind the scenes, and they will say, "Look, well, I remember against the last Clemson Georgia game. There were people from, I think it was ABC or ESPN. One of them had been to Clemson earlier in the week and then went to Georgia on Thursday. Told me afterwards, he's like, this is night and day. Georgia's going to kill them. The athletes on the field are just – this looks like how when I used to visit Alabama And then I would go to Georgia. I'd be like, look, Alabama's going to wipe the floor with them. That's why I never picked Georgia to beat Alabama, because they never had the athletes to run with them under the Richt era, and the early Kirby era. And I'm like, yeah. He says, so you, on paper, this is a ridiculously talented team. And then there's the analysts will tell you, the people who are not actually going to practice and seeing that stuff, but who follow recruiting and who follow the rosters. They will say, look, the blue chip ratio that Georgia has is through the roof. This is one of Kirby Smart's most loaded teams. And yeah, they lost 10 guys to the NFL, and they lost, they're losing an average of anywhere from 10 to 13 a year. But he's still stocking a lot of players. It's one of the best, 1 to 85 or 1 to 105 rosters in America. So could Kirby Smart be optimistic about that? Yeah, but he's also petrified because he has no idea what he has. He's got no clue. He doesn't know if he has an offensive line. He doesn't know if he has a defensive line. He knows he has the bodies. Yeah. And you look at the secondary and you see Ellis Robinson, who I hear is doing really well. Yeah. And you look at Daniel Harris, you would draw Daniel Harris up on a board. Like, I want a fast, tall, long cornerback. Oh, and look, there's another one in Harris, Ellis Robinson. And I need somebody experienced on the other side. Oh, I got Dalen Everett. That should be great, but then they should have been able to run the ball last year with 4 drafted offensive linemen. So,
is part of that fear, Roddy, that roughly 50% freshmen and sophomores? It's a young club. Is that part of that?
That's
fear?
Terrifying.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. But I've been saying it like this for the past few weeks, and this is kind of my theory going with it, going back, looking at how the 2016 team, you guys were there, it was terrible. But 2017, they played for a national title. You had Nick Chubb and Sony coming back. Those guys, there were so many good guys on that team with Lorenzo and Davin and all those.
They were together too. Yes.
Right. It coalesced, and you had that leadership. And then they were good, for a couple of years there. Then it all kind of coalesced again in 2021 and 2022. So you had a little gap between 2017 and 2021, 4 years before you get back to it. Then in 23 and 24, we were kind of expecting the continuation of the first 2 national championship teams, those first 2. Like, look, all these guys in 23, they played on that 2022 team that went undefeated. You got the quarterback, you got the receivers, you got the offensive line, all these guys stuck around, and, now it's their turn to go win a title. They've seen how it's been done the last 2 years. They know what it takes. And they went undefeated except for 1 game. Yeah. You're like, okay, now these guys in 2024, they are so freaking hungry. They are going to kick everybody's ass because they came up short. But each year you've gotten further away from what you had in 2021 and the 15 guys that were drafted. Now, in 2025, it's kind of like that 2021 group. You're 4 years away from that first group that won it all.
Yeah.
You've got new players. So the star power is there, but it's not, nobody knows who it is.
Right. Yeah.
Is it, last year we could talk about all the named men, if you will, the made men, the mafiosos on the team, the guys you're expecting to come out and just, all the preseason watch award list. Georgia had 15 guys on those award lists. Now, Georgia didn't have a first team all SEC guy. Okay.
Like you were saying,
Harrison,
but you probably do.
Put up Larry Glover's comment there, Harrison. You see that?
Right here?
There you go. Roddy, right there.
Yeah.
There it is, right there.
But so maybe you can. Maybe Trevor Etienne, great running back. But maybe Nate Frazier's three times better. Maybe Rod Robinson's better. Maybe Josh McCray is better. Maybe Ernest Green is the Ernest Green we saw 2 years ago, not last year. Maybe Monroe
they're healthy on the offensive line, right?
Noah Thompson could, or hell, just give me Colby Young. Have the year that I don't want to get into who told me this, but I spoke to someone who would know. So I'll tell you. And he's like, my expectations for Colby Young last year and Ra Thomas were off the charts. And this is a guy who's been coaching a really long time. And he says those should have been Georgia's 1 and 2 wide receivers, and basically they played well, either one of them. He says if Colby Young has half the career or half the year that I think he should have had last year, he will be a household name. And when they do those highlight reels before the game starts, and you pick CBS, ABC, and ESPN. They always pick the 5 guys that people should know when they show them on the clip, the quick cuts. Now they're just going to do it by position. They're not going to do it by big name because you just don't know who those guys are. But by the midway through the season, all of a sudden you can be like, I can't wait to watch Georgia throw it to number 8. I can't wait to watch them toss it to number 7. Lawson Lucky is going to have a Macchio. In other words, they're not household names yet. But I think to answer your long-winded way of answering your question, is Kirby excited about these guys? Is he optimistic about them? Yeah. It's just going to be, he sees the potential that is out there. He doesn't know if it's going to bloom, but he knows that his roster, his tight end room, his linebacker room, his running backs, his O-line, his QB room even.
Yeah,
we've got the horses to go with anybody in the nation. Can we put it together? And that's why he was talking about those puzzle pieces. How do I put this together? What do they need from me? How do I get them to perform at that level? And I think he's really excited about the potential that he has, and he's got a couple warm-up games.
Yeah.
And like you were mentioning, the blue chip ratio, this is Kirby's highest rated ever at 84%. So
really, okay.
Yeah. So
he was good. I didn't realize it was that good, but
yeah, 84%. Yeah. So that Alabama's 1 at 89, Ohio State's 2 at 89. They're tied, and then Georgia's got 84%. So
yeah, so he knows he's got a good roster. He likes his coaches. I know nobody else does, but he's a big fan of his coaches. And here's the thing, that this is where I get in trouble for defending Kirby Smart's coaches. Kirby Smart is the coach.
Yeah.
I don't care. If he doesn't like a play, he will let you know. He can override any play call. And there's only been 1 or 2 times where he's come out and said, I didn't realize what we had called because I was focusing on something else, or I was yelling at the official. But he's on the headset for all those calls. If you think that Mike Bobo calls too many screen calls, well, guess who approved every last one of them? Kirby Paul Smart.
Yeah, but to be fair, Roddy, along that, the quarterback has the option. Maybe Gunner, I would think, does now, but Carson Beck surely did the past 2 years to change the play at the line of scrimmage, right?
He's got 3 options.
I asked about this
specifically. I said, what has changed from 2016 to 2025? He says, you people have no idea how hard it is to be a quarterback now.
Yeah. And
all the stuff that we have to do. He's got to play on the left side of the field. He's got to play on the middle. He's got to play on the right side of the field. We're trying to confuse them. We're throwing all this eye candy. And he has to decide whether or not he's going to keep the ball, whether he's going to hand the ball off, or whether or not he's going to throw it. And that's the thing. When any of his quarterbacks struggle, going back to Stetson Bennett against Alabama, looking like to steal a Louis Grizzard quote, a goat with MS, just going out there just looking terrible. And you're like, what, dude, what's wrong with Stetson? And remember, Stetson's too short. He had all the balls batted down. He never beat Alabama.
Right.
Then when Carson struggled, like Carson, you completed 4 passes in the first half. You were terrible. And when we're expecting him to throw his quarterback under the bus like he would any corner, any running back, any lineman, he will call them out to say why they sucked in the game, but he always defends his quarterbacks. And we're like, why won't Kirby rip his QB? Does he think they're so dainty? What is his response? He got us in the right place.
Yeah.
Or I wish he'd gotten us into a different play. So to your point, this is why I don't join the Mike Bobo hate club, because I'm like, I don't know what play was called. And even if I did, I don't know if it was changed at the line. Yeah. So until I can get the play call sheet and I can get the tape and line them up and see who actually changed it and for what reasons, I don't know if that play was called is what Mike Bobo called. And Mike's not going to throw in his quarterback. So he'll come out and say, yeah, I called spiking the ball on 4th down. He will come out and say that he did it. He will never let his quarterbacks take an ounce of abuse. So in other words, I don't know enough to be a good critic. So I just go to the top. If it sucks, it's Kirby's fault.
Yeah.
My bad for interrupting. Roddy, we got a question in the chat. Well, we actually had 3. We got 2 others. I'm going to go to these 2 first. Roddy, what's the reasoning behind the color-coded Guardian caps for the dogs Alex Pay's ass?
Did we do this story in the spring, or did I just mention on the board?
I want to say it might have been in the spring that y'all did the story.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. So I remember years ago being approached by Guardian, and I actually got a few of those Guardian caps, and I took them to my little league where my son played, and I put them on our two biggest hitters, one on offense and one on defense. The kids fucking hated them. So then the coaches shot them down. I'm like, these are great. But anyway, so the Guardian caps have come a long way from everybody hating them to everybody liking them. So red is the normal Guardian cap, but they ordered a few blue ones. Blue being the color, the hottest color. If you see a flame go blue, that is the hottest color. Not white, not red, not orange, but blue. When you watch those plasma torches cut, you'll see there is a blue flame. So who has the fire, passion, and energy, that guy gets a blue helmet, a blue Guardian cap. Now, here's the thing about the Guardian cap. They're supposed to keep you from getting concussions because they're a little extra padding on top of your helmet. You have guys who can afford Lambos out there. You have guys that can afford, they have nice townhomes here. They're able to buy their folks nice houses. You got guys getting $30,000 a month. You got guys getting a lot more than that. You have guys making a lot less than that too. What's one thing they can't buy? Recognition. An attaboy from Kirby Smart. A job well done. Now, you might get to go first, in the reps because you're the starter. And so when we're going to go our individual reps, you get to go first. But if Kirby Smart or James Coley or Glenn Schumann puts that blue hat on you, you're like, hey, and they fight to get that blue Guardian cap. It is a sign of prestige. It is a sign of the coaches. I'm the leader today. I'm the captain. They want to be the captain that day. So they get to put on that blue Guardian hat and it's a cap, and it lets people know that that's the badass. That's who you need to be practicing like. So when I saw that, I think it was Raylan Wilson had one on the other day. It's like, hey, if I'm CJ Allen, I want that back. If I'm Chris Cole, by God, I want that back. If I'm a Crua, I'm like, I'm a freshman, but I want it. So that's what the blue caps are. If you see one guy wearing that one, then that's a guy who in film or the day before proved everybody that he's an absolute badass and you want to be like him.
We got another one from Gary Holt. I got a question. Do y'all think Kirby looks rested compared to last year? I thought he looked rested in his press conference.
I agree. Yeah. He looked a little younger to me. Crazy as that sounds. I know I look older. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, you look very much older.
Yeah, thank you. But I thought he looked younger. I thought he looked good.
I just think he looks comfortable. I think he's, like you're saying, I think he's content with his team. I don't think there's any right now outside.
Is that crazy to read into that, Roddy? Is that crazy?
Yeah, well, that's what we do.
I've seen he looks much older than he did in 2016. Well,
yes.
Yeah, it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years.
We all do. Well, Eddie looks a lot older, but yeah.
None of us look as old as Eddie, but yeah, that's
thanks. By the way, we're the same age, Roddy, so shut up.
I would have never
really.
Never
God, you look terrible.
I thought you had at least 10 years on Roddy.
Yeah,
I look terrible. Thanks. Jeez, that's awesome.
Dude, you need to lift or something. I'm just.
Oh my God. Go ahead, Roddy. Go ahead. Give us some commentary.
He'll show the guns in a second.
No, the question, I agree. He looked very calm, looked happier. I will say this, though. There were we didn't report it some years back. I won't say Kirby was going through a crisis, but Kirby was frustrated. And he actually brought in a sports psychologist. And he started meeting with a psychologist. Now that guy is there for the whole team. The person did such a good job with Kirby that he's like, all my players can benefit from this. So they basically have a sports psychologist on call or on staff, So the frustrations of it, the pressures that he put him on. You got to remember, this is a guy who, after he won the first title in 2021, that spring practice, or not even that spring practice, the day they came back in January, that team meeting, Kirby was on the warpath. And he was an absolute asshole that spring when they came back. Players and coaches were complaining. They're like, we won a title. But Kirby was telling folks, we are not going to rest on our laurels. We are not going to hit cruise control. He knew from being at Alabama, once you win the first one, once you get to the mountaintop, the wind is stiffer than it's ever been. It's tough to harness that underdog mentality. It's so easy to cruise. You forget how hard it was to get there because you're too busy basking in the accolades and the the bright sunlight on top of the mountain. And he's like, we are not going to lose that hunger. We're not going to lose that intensity. And he doubled down. Now, granted, they won a title and went undefeated that year. But they also just had the best collection of talent. You know,
that team was stacked. Yeah, that team was.
Yeah, they were beating anybody. And a lot of them knew it. They're like, look, this is overkill. And we're going to transfer. We're getting out of here. I'm not coming back for my senior year. I'm not going through this again. I'm looking for another job. And the satisfaction that he should have had from winning titles wasn't there. He met with a psychiatrist or a psychologist, and I don't know the difference. I know we got a bunch of folks on the board who get it. But I think to that point, that has helped him with his appreciation, you know. Also, you know, you lose your dad. That was tough. Not to say that made him calmer, but it's he had family issues. So sometimes a family issue recenters you.
I lost my dad in February as well, and
my serious apologies.
Thank you. You don't care about the little things anymore. You know, it's like that's what it is. Like that does not matter. It's a whole nother game. Once you lose someone that close to you, those other things mean nothing. So that's.
Well, I love the question that somebody, I don't know if it's you, Roddy, somebody asked him about that in the presser about how different it is this year going into the season without his dad, you know, and did he talk to him about football? And he said he really didn't. His dad came in and just talked to him about life and his kids and that kind of thing, which was nice to hear, but it's got to be a totally different mindset for him going in without his dad, right? I mean, like you said, that changes your life. It changes your perspective.
I mean, well, Andy's been through it. I mean, what is it? Just not 5 months?
Yeah, it's almost 6 months. We're like 5.5 months.
Yeah. His life's not the same.
No,
you know?
It changes completely. And Eddie, you lost your mom, you know, and your dad, but
and my dad, yeah. I mean, but we're not unique to that. I mean, that's just the way it is. But just as a coach, I'm saying from his perspective, you know, it's a different mentality going into the year, right? Like you said. The small stuff, who cares, right?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't. I'm sure he's not thinking about the outside noise at all now. Like the little things. Yeah, he don't.
He's the outside noise.
He says he never does, but then he complains about what we write.
He lies very well.
You guys are going to write about this. You guys are going to say this. I'm like, I thought you blocked out the outside noise.
He's probably listening to this show right now, Andy.
Dude,
he probably is.
I had a coach tell me years ago, I don't pay attention to anything you guys say. I'm like, okay. And then within 48 hours, he had texted me about something we wrote on our site. And I'm like, how did you see that if you don't pay attention to anything we say? He's like, I read your site while I'm on the crapper. Well, thanks, Coach. Thanks. But hey, he was tipping me off to the fact that Stetson Bennett was coming back from Jones College. So,
well, how about that?
I'm like, well, get yourself cleaned up, and thanks, Coach. I appreciate the heads up. But he knew because we had done our report on who was coming in, who. You know, that was when you still had a real signing day, and we had our list of who else was left and who they were going to sign on that signing day. And he's like, "Hey, you guys missed one." And I'm like, "Well, how do you know we missed one? Because you don't read our stuff." He's like, "Well, I'm letting you know that we're getting Stetson Bennett's coming back." So we put him on the list, come back from Jones. And I'm like, you know, that's when he told us I only read your stuff while I'm on the crapper. Thanks, Coach.
At least he's reading. That's all that matters.
Roddy, that's a perfect segue into, I guess, the news of the weekend. Anthony Lonan, the 4-star defensive lineman, committed to Georgia on Saturday. We just wanted to get, I guess, your thoughts on what you've seen from Lonan and kind of that addition, because now I think they're 7 deep on the commit list at defensive line.
Yeah.
It breaks down to me like this. Georgia's number 2 in the recruiting rankings. Again, if the rules are the same, Kirby Smart's going to sign or buy as good a class as possible. He doesn't have the depth that Texas has, or that some of the other schools are spending. He doesn't have that kind of money. That's just it doesn't have the money Miami does. But he's still going to have a good relationship with a lot of players. He's got a great reputation. And a lot of kids will come play for him, even if he's not the highest bidder. And one of the stories we have coming out here shortly from, our man Lance, look at the number of legacies that they've been able to sign. Look at the number of guys who maybe didn't play for Kirby, but know Kirby really well, and there's the stuff of, Fitzpatrick and guys like that, Miami trying to lure him away.
Yeah.
Well, his older brother's like, look, you need to play for Kirby. I want you to be good. So I will give Kirby credit for, even though they're not spending the most amount of money, they got the number 2 class, and he knows you have to win in the trenches. So, 7 defensive linemen, 5 offensive linemen, and still looking for more. They'll keep their eyes open the whole time. The thing I like about Lannon, Dad played for Coach Donnan, was injured, but comes from a football family, high IQ kid, great athlete. I know people at Clark Central, they rave about him. You saw his head coach get up there, say he played as a true freshman, a couple games with a broken hand. I'm like, okay, tough, smart, football background. That's all the stuff we start looking for in a quarterback, right? When we talk, we want a tough QB who's smart with a football dad, connection to the school. We look for all that stuff. In other words, he's Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah.
But the problem is he's a legacy. And inadvertently, we crap on legacies. We did it with Drew Bobo. We did it with Lawson Lucky. We've done it with everybody who's had any sort of connection to the team.
I don't crap on legacies.
I'm just saying overall, the idea has always been, oh, well, he knows somebody. And I'm like, Kirby, the one thing, I don't know how I don't want to put this. He gets a lot of grief from former teammates for not signing their kids.
Really?
They're like, look, we were roommates. We were classmates. Or I was the guy who took you under my wing when you got here. Or you took me under your wing, Kirby, when I was there. Now my son's 18 and wants to play. And Kirby has to tell these guys, your kid's not good enough.
Wow.
And he does it a lot because everybody wants their kid to play for Kirby. He's got a lot of guys he's known, he coached an older brother or their dad in his, a lot of the guys he coached. And he's been doing it long enough that they have kids now. They have kids who are recruitable, going back to LSU or wherever he was. So he has to turn a lot of kids down. And that's why I say, look, if Kirby's going to give the kid a real scholarship, not just bring him in as a NIL or a preferred walk-on, he believes that's one of the 85. That's one of his guys. So there are no pity scholarships. You guys remember how people said about Drew Bobo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still
did anybody give him the benefit of the doubt? Hell no.
No, not at all. No. And that's
what I love about the signing. Harrison, you were there, right? So Lannon's dad played from 95 through 97 as a tight end at Georgia, back in my days. And he beat Tech all 3 times. And it was between Georgia and Tech, right? And didn't he have what did he have on the podium there?
He had 2 little flags, one for each school. And after his kid committed to Georgia, he made sure to quickly remove the Tech flag from the table.
Right. He threw it on the floor. And normally I say, I don't like that because, Tech put a lot of, or whoever, the other schools put a lot into that and they're just dismissing it. But you know what? It's Tech. I was happy to see that flag hit the floor. Amen, brother. I love that from the dad. That was fantastic.
Radi, you also made it a good segue into, we wanted to talk about breakout players that no one's talking about in camp, because you just mentioned, when Kirby gets these kids, he sees them as one of the 85.
Yeah.
So I guess this segment, we were trying to put names, at least one name, for somebody who people aren't talking about right now. So no Noah Thomas or maybe Zachariah Branch, but maybe somebody else that's being overlooked in terms of who's somebody you think emerges from this fall camp and ends up playing in I don't want to say major role, but contributes fairly significantly.
Well, the problem is you roll in so many different guys. I don't think people are talking about Xavier McLeod enough.
Oh.
But then maybe they are. Maybe I just don't read it. I'm busy doing other stuff, But that's a guy who could blow up. You can say Jordan Hall just because he's never done it, but
he's being talked about. Yeah, he's been talked about a lot.
Yeah, but he was a 5-star.
Right.
So that's not going to be any shock there. We talked about Michael Looney simply because Kirby was just ripping him a new one the other day at practice, calling him a turtle or something. He's moving too slow. But the fact that he's running with the ones, and does anybody know how much have you seen from Daniel Calhoun? I don't know, So,
Yeah.
but I'll say a guy that I think will get a lot of plays, London Humphreys. I expected more out of him last year. And I'm not saying he's the Lad McConkey, and it's going to be tough with, Colby Youngs, Noah Thompson, Branch, Dylan Bell.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough to get out there. But there's a reason London was the top guy at Vandy and scored on Georgia. He's really good. This is year 2 with him here? Year 3?
Year 2 with Humphreys, yep.
Year two.
Give me a guy like that, give me a return guy, even aside from Branch. Because I just think that Georgia's they like you said, they swept the all SEC awards for best kicker, best punter, best possible return guys. But I just due to math, Georgia hasn't had a big return in 100 years, so somebody has to be due.
That's true.
So give me a return guy on special teams. Give me a defensive lineman, an offensive lineman, one wide receiver, and somebody has to break out at defensive end, outside linebacker.
Yeah,
just because they're all gone.
London Humphreys was running with the ones. Isn't that what he's talking about there?
Yeah, and the Gruden photo, which I wish we were able to post videos during our visits.
Well, like Gary Holt there is that Chris Cole could be the guy. Somebody has to break out on the edge.
Yeah.
You remember when you had Sam and Pemba and Gabe Wilson and Damon Wilson and Gabe Harris, all those guys came in. You got 2 5-stars and 3 guys in the top 100. Yeah. 2 of them are gone. So who breaks out over there? Who takes all those Chaz Chandler snaps?
Yeah. Well, we go around the room. Andy, you got somebody?
I wonder if I think Adrian Maddox may be a guy that can, because I think he's going to get a lot of playing time.
Nobody from Heritage has ever been any good.
Where are you from?
I'm from the good school in Rockdale County High School. None of that Heritage bullshit.
Okay. No,
I like him. He's a good kid. He's a comfort UAB. I've not heard anything about him in practice. That's not a good or a bad thing. It's just, he hasn't been listed to me as one of the guys that stood out yet. So, but hey,
how about you, Harrison?
It's a great point. Somebody at safety has to show up because you only got one safety.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a shot to make some plays.
Oh, absolutely.
After we saw him on Thursday, I had to put him on the list, and I don't think he's as much not being talked about. I think he's just coming back after being out for 9 games. I mean, Joseph Jonah-Ajonye just looked phenomenal for somebody who missed all but the first 4 games of the year. Radi, I mean, you saw him too. The physique on that guy, he looks good.
Yeah, he looks like a in shape Malik Herring.
Wow.
Well, I'm going to go with
comp that you'll take right there. If he turns out to be Malik Herring, that's a good player.
Don't get me wrong, Malik's one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah.
I love the. But if you remember when Malik really slimmed down when he got to the NFL and how good he looked, and that that was it the first year with the Chiefs.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, he just looked like it's like, okay, we know you tore your ACL or whatever, but
you're like, where is this at in Athens?
Yeah.
Eddie, I like your suggestion here.
Yeah.
Georgia needs it.
Yeah, Nnamdi Ogboko. I'm going to go with him. Now, we all are kind of partial to 3 stars from North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
I'm going back to Jordan Davis here, but the way they rotate these guys in, I just see him making a bunch of plays, and he's going to be that zero tech guy. I think what I've read and heard about him, he's starting to make plays. But one in the back of my mind, I know I may be completely off on this, but I've seen him play in person. There's Rashawn Dinkins. I think that guy in that star position, look out for him. It may not be this year, but he reminded me when I saw him play in person against Marist High School, and he looked like Javon Bullard to me. He just stood out. And again, spurned tech for Georgia, so that makes me love the kid even more.
No, I'm with you there. I like that kid. I think if somebody playing at the star spot could be huge. Anybody in the slot could be big. Yeah. Just think about this when Georgia runs out and Noah Thomas and Colby Young on the your X and Z, and all of a sudden you're like, those guys are huge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what are you going to cover them with? A short corner or bring up a safety? You got to account for them. And it's when you have those big guys who have a good size advantage, a length advantage, a big catch radius, it just seems to open the slot up really, just to all these, comebacks and stuff like that and crossing
No, I did
routes
not, fellas. Neither of them were here last year. Hey, go back to Chris Taylor's comment there, Harrison. A few up from that. Put that up there,
Right here.
please. There you go. That's an interesting comment. That's a really interesting comment. Thoughts on that, Roddy?
He stays atop the list. He's your first guy to throw to.
I agree. I mean, I think Dylan Bell is the man.
He's going to be your starting Z wide receiver, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's also your guy who you use him like you did James Cook. Line him up in the backfield.
Yeah.
If they don't account for him, then you break him out. If they do account for him, you
We
hand
brought
him the
that
damn
up
ball.
last week. Roddy, we brought that up last week, and we all asked, or I did. I don't know if the guys agreed or disagreed. Is Dylan Bell even in the backfield this year? And I think part of that was out of necessity last year. But he's such a weapon. I mean, do they put him in the backfield just maybe as a gimmick play because he's so good?
I mean, you put him back there legitimately because he can run it.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not exactly like there's a huge pecking order behind Nate Frazier. I mean, Josh McRae's one of the top guy to come, he's top rusher on his group. Chauncey Owens looks great. Nate Phillips is super fast. You have guys, but with actual game experience, which Kirby likes to rely on, somebody who can read that defense. Think about it. You have Gunnar Stockton back there, and you put Dylan Bell beside him, and all of a sudden they're rotating safeties, and he hears the call from up front. Dylan Bell knows what to do.
Yeah.
Dylan Bell's like, okay, they're changing something. I need to watch this play side defensive end. I might have to chip the hell out of that guy coming in. Knowing where the
who comes in like a Chaz Chambliss at that fullback position if they run that? Is that
I
is
think
that the kid from Illinois?
Michael Morris is no longer the goal line back anymore with him being the starting guard, unless the whoever doesn't get the starting left guard spot will replace
I'm
him
very
in the goal line
curious about
package.
that.
If they're smart, they put in 33. Put in Quatavius Johnson. Put him in there like a Charles Grant.
Roddy, I know you got other things to get to. We got one more question, then we'll let you go. And you might not even want to give away the full answer here because we can go ahead and plug UJ Sports. Roddy had an update on this, an insider note a few days ago on Gunnar and Puglisi. Do you want to indulge this, or should we tease it back to the board?
I mean, that's why you tune in. Is Puglisi pushing Gunnar? No, he is not.
Right there. That's all.
Wow. That was pretty definitive.
Yeah, well, I like it.
But that's not a shot against Ryan Puglisi. Everybody knows
that's 4 years, right?
I predicted him to be my breakout player this year, simply because it's nothing against Gunnar Stockton. I'm a big believer in Gunnar Stockton. I've watched the kid, since 9th grade, 8th, 10th grade, and a lot. I've gone to see him. Froze my butt off trying to get an interview with that kid. Oldest I've ever been in my life. I just worry that Gunner's going to take one hit. I mean, he's going to take a hit like he did in that Texas game. He's just he wants to win so badly. There'll be times where he doesn't slide. And he's going to take a hit like a Jake Fromm or an Aaron Murray. He's going to get this bell rung. And Ryan Puglisi better be ready to go. He better keep his helmet on the sideline at all times. Just saying.
Well,
Gunner's been in it, like you said, a long time. So.
Yeah, not to talk about Tech and make this a Tech show, but I feel that way about Haynes King. Everybody's high on Haynes King, and he's going to be the man this year. But I'm with you, Roddy. I think it's one hit or two hits, and he's knocked out. And that could be the exact same thing you're talking about with Gunnar Stockton. Absolutely. Because he wants it so badly. Right.
Right. Well, you barely beat us with our third-string walk-on QB from Yale. Well, yeah. But they beat you. Point is, you hope that you're not running a third-string quarterback, walk on from Yale. You're going to Ryan Puglisi, who's not had a snap in a Georgia game. So how can you be pushing him when he's got almost 2 years on you? And Ryan was recovering when he got here. It's not like he was ready to go that first spring. So it's a complicated offense. They can make it very simple, but the defenses are complex.
Yeah.
So people say, well, just dumb it down. Okay, we can dumb it down, and we'll be 3 and out. So we can dumb it down as much as you like, and make it just a simple read option, and we'll be looking at 2nd and 8. So
That ain't good.
The defenses are too good. They confuse you too much, and a lot of it is just comes with experience. So, which is why I was a little surprised that Carson wasn't better than him.
Ooh.
Yeah, looks like Roddy just taking a break.
Roddy froze. Hey,
Yeah.
look, he's showing us his gun, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's a sweet shot.
Roddy, I don't know if you can hear us. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We'll definitely have to bring him back.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, he's the boss, man. He can come on whenever he wants. Eddie, I saw some people in here mentioning the Braves. I know that people are fired up to hear you and Andy's take on the Braves trade deadline. A quiet deadline by all standards. Very quiet. What's everyone's temperature in the room? I think we're all on the same page. The season's over with.
Yeah,
it's done.
Yeah.
Are we a little disappointed that they couldn't make a move that improves them for 26, or at least
you take Radi off the screen? That's making me a little nervous there. There we go. That's better. I mean, you want me to sit here like this and make a comment because I can do that?
Please do. No, I'm with you.
Go, Andy.
I'm disappointed too because I really wanted to get something to build on. But the problem is, who's going to pay for Marcell Ozuna with a messed up hip? No one's going to do that. And I think the Braves are wanting them to pay for it. And so it's like, okay, if we're paying for Marcell Ozuna, we're not giving you any prospects. And I think that was kind of the thing. So it sucks. And you know, like we kind of go back and forth, and I see James Caraway in here and with Paul, and you know, like we kind of talked to those guys about like, should they trade Ronald Acuna? Well, if they're not going to re-sign him in 2 years or 3 years, maybe they should listen. But Ronald Acuna is the best player in baseball. So it's one of those things, man. It was disappointing, and it is disappointing for me to see them struggle. But I will say this: the what do they call that thing? The Speedway Classic at Bristol Motor Speedway. Now that was pretty cool. I got to say that was awesome. Don't do the crazy talk about it.
Paul. You last week, Paul. I was outgunned.
I'll do it. It doesn't bother me. No, I thought it was cool at Bristol. You know, I only tuned in for two reasons, basically: Bristol and to see Hurston Waldrop pitch. That was it. Okay, that's where I am now as a Braves fan. I haven't watched them in literally 2 weeks. I've just not cared about this baseball team because
me and Paul are the only true fans in here. But whatever, go ahead.
No, don't give me that. That's so ridiculous. I don't want to hear about true fans crap. That's just crap. So here's what it boils down to me. I saw a lot of scuttlebutt, and you were part of this, Andy, about how maybe the Braves should have paid a little bit to get Ozuna moved, right? Pay the salary a little bit. The Braves don't pay to keep people here. They're not going to pay people to leave. That's the Braves organization. They're cheap, okay? They're not going to do that. So we were stuck with Ozuna all along. It was ridiculous to think that was going to happen. But I'm with you, Andy. I was completely disappointed in what happened at the trade deadline, which was basically nothing. They did nothing. What did they trade? One reliever, Montero?
Two relievers. Him and the was it Santos?
Yeah,
that's right. Santos. You're right.
But still, I mean, nothing done. Nothing done, Eddie. To your point, nothing really done.
And today is what I wanted to see. Hurston Waldrop. I don't give two craps about Carlos Carrasco, who's 38 years old, coming in here. Joey Wentz, great. He's looked great. That's not our future. I want to see J.R. Ritchie. I want to see these other players in AAA coming up and pitching for this team. Give me some hope for next year because you're right, Harrison. This season is done. It's a dumpster fire. Just let the guys come up from AAA when it's over in September, and let's see some hope in this franchise.
And I do want to give James Caraway credit. He made a very good point about, you know, we talk about John Smoltz pitching 400 innings or whatever in the minors and Tommy Glavine pitching 300 or whatever. But James made a good point. He's like, these guys are going to college, though. He's like, Tommy Glavine didn't, and Smoltz didn't go to college. So they got, 200 innings in the minors or in college. So bring them on up. And I was like, you know what? That's true. That's a very good point. And if we're at the point they're at, they're not going to win anything. The season's over. Let's see them all. So,
yeah.
But overall, I thought the Bristol thing was really cool. I mean, but
other than
last night was a disaster, and that was pushed upon the players. They were playing in a flood last night, and not to mention the fans ran out of food and water and all that kind of stuff.
And beer. How do you run out of beer?
I mean, come on. At some point, you got to look at this and look at the radar and say, guys, we just can't do this. When they scored that first run, the other team, the Reds scored that first run, he was running through a lake to get there. I literally thought he was going to fall down and get hurt. That was not good. They just forced that because they had all that advertising money going and all that stuff. I thought that was a joke. But today it looked really cool. And when they hit, it's fun. They hit a home run. Eli White had the game of his life. He's 31.
The king of
never replicate this. And they have a car run around the track with the home run. That was fun. It was good to see.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Here's the question.
Andy, have you been to that track?
No, I've never been. No,
I've been there. I watched a NASCAR race there. It's like in a valley.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool place to go to. So I can't imagine a baseball game there. I'm sure it was really cool to be in person with food and drinks today.
Do y'all think NASCAR does something like this again? I think Field of Dreams was a whopping success. Does Bristol go down as a success where Major League Baseball says we need to do this more often?
I think so. I think they'll pick different teams, obviously, but yeah, I think they'll spin it around with different teams.
Well, to be fair, when they picked these two teams last year, we were like, this could be a massive game, right? For both teams trying to get in the playoffs, and it turned out that's not the case.
Well, Cincinnati.
It was a washout, as it turned out, unintended.
True.
But hey, the Braves won the very first one ever, and so hey.
By the way, I want to share this with you guys. Yeah, no doubt. But I want to share this with you guys. Today, this was tweeted. This is unbelievable. Brady Penn. Do y'all know who that guy is? I didn't. But, okay, you know Brady Penn?
Well, I've seen him before. Yeah.
Okay, with today's win at Bristol, the Braves have won their first rubber match since May 18th.
Oh, gosh.
In Boston, which was also the last Sunday game they won prior to today. They had lost in the past 10 Sundays entering today. That's a disaster. That's a dumpster fire.
Yeah. What was it, Eddie? You had a quote. You had a tweet, a reply somewhere. Something was on fire, and you said that should be the Braves. Right? No. What was it? Well, I forget what
it was. Their hats with the flames. I said that should be a dumpster fire. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Because that's what they are. They're a dumpster fire.
Yeah. It's absolute. It's embarrassing. This is a good one. Then we'll move on to the Falcons, the other Atlanta team, as some people might call them. Which track do you think MLB should go to next? I'm for Talladega. I mean, if the Braves are going to be in it, let's keep going to Braves. Let's keep going to Braves country.
It's too big.
Why do you think it's
Bristol's
too big?
Perfect because Bristol's perfect because it's smaller. It's compact. Talladega's too spread out. You been there, Harrison?
I've not. I've only seen on TV.
Andy, you've been there, right?
I've been by. I've never been to it.
I've been there. It's a 2.5 mile track. You got to do this with smaller tracks.
What about Darlington?
Yeah, Darlington.
Darlington would be perfect.
Let's see, Darlington's 1.77 miles, I believe. So that would be
Darlington would be perfect.
So no like super speedways. It needs to be one of the.
No, you can't do those. They're too big.
Atlanta Motor Speedway. I know it's.
Atlanta. It's close. It's close.
A mile and a half. So just saying.
Yeah.
Dirt track in Oakwood. Chris Taylor's got it figured out.
Gentlemen, I guess in terms of we're going from a season that's already written off to a season that has yet to begun. I want to open it here because this was the big news of the week with the Falcons. Micah Parsons has requested a trade out of Dallas, and instantly, all 31 other franchises just ears perked up. Okay. Everybody's listening. What would it take to get Micah Parsons out of Dallas, and what would you give up? He's going into his final year of his contract. The Cowboys can franchise tag him, I believe, twice is the new rule. They have control. They have the leverage. But if Micah Parsons truly wants out, what are you willing to give up to acquire him if you're the Atlanta Falcons?
Basically anything, really, right? I mean, he sort of makes you – because the Falcons typically botch the drafts, so what does it matter? Yep. But, he would transform your defense, does he not? And this team, if Michael Penix is the guy that we think he's going to be, which we'll get to that in a minute, but if this offense is that team, you add a Micah Parsons to that defense, you're talking about an elite level defense. And they're saying a first round, a second round, I don't know, some fourth round. There's all kinds of picks they're saying it's going to take, but I say do it. Why not? I mean, as long as you can re-sign him, I say give whatever you got to do.
Well, we already traded away that first round pick, right? To get James Pierce, so we don't.
Yeah,
have that
they were saying for like the next year, the first round, the following.
Right.
I think they were
Well,
saying.
I saw a proposed trade, and it was Tyler Algiers, the backup running back, Kyle Pitts, a second and a third rounder next year for Micah Parsons.
Dude, they would
sign me up.
If they take that, I will drive them in my truck over there.
It was something I saw on Twitter. It could be just total BS. I love Tyler Algiers. I think he's a great back, but you can get second string running backs all day long. Micah Parsons has averaged 12 sacks a year for 4 years. This guy is a game wrecker. Okay, that's the kind of guy offensive coordinators go like, we got to account for that guy right there. Do we have a guy on our team like that other than Jesse Bates right now? No. Micah Parsons, I'll say it right now. Micah Parsons on the Falcons makes you a Super Bowl contender right now.
Alex Page says Cowboys aren't trading Parsons. They will sign to a deal. I will say this.
No, they won't. He wants out. I disagree with Alex.
If this turns out to be Myles Garrett level tactics in terms of getting G'd up, I might be able to see that. But the Cowboys have something like this every offseason, but this is farther than it's gone before. I don't remember anyone else requesting a trade to get out of there. So, and I don't blame the guy. I mean, all the crap that every year it's Jerry's, disrespecting his star players. Getting on Micah about getting injured, getting on Dak about getting injured, getting on CD for whatever the heck. I don't disagree. I think it was a matter of time before.
What's more attractive to Micah Parsons? I mean, just take everybody else out.
Yeah,
Dallas or Atlanta right now. What's more attractive?
He would definitely probably say Atlanta right now since he wants out of Dallas.
Wouldn't you agree with that? Now, I mean, there's other teams in the mix. I'm not accounting for.
Yeah, we're not the only team.
Those two. Yeah, I know, but just those two. Go to Atlanta.
Fred F. Little pessimism. Parsons will come over here in some way. The Falcons will stand him up to play coverage like Judon. Now, I mean, let's give Parsons credit. He's a much better athlete.
He's out for the year, right?
He's a much better athlete than Judon, so you might trust him a little bit more. But yes, you want him to rush the passer. That is valid. Gentlemen, I saw this week. It was Orlando Ledbetter was praising James Pierce.
Do we have to do this? Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
James Pierce. And that's I mean, obviously, because Jalen Walker's out with the hamstring right now. I think he's been limited. But how are we feeling? I think y'all were both said, hey, this past year's draft turned out to be, y'all were pretty happy with it.
I saw Marsh Mutts when I said the Falcons typically botch the draft. And outside of this year, they do. But no, Marsh Mutt, I love this year's draft. And I think getting James Pierce and Jalen Walker.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great draft. Yeah, I'm 100%.
I would argue, Marsh Mutt, this is the best draft the Falcons have ever had.
Yeah, no, I mean, Matt Ryan, I mean, I don't know.
That's one pick. This was two.
He's a franchise quarterback, though, so that's a little bit different. But the point is,
I guess you got to let it play out. You're right.
Yeah, the draft. But yes, I'm 100% with you, Marsh Mutt. It was a great.
What we needed, Andy, right?
Yeah, 100.
The best draft.
Yeah, great draft.
I will say, when they traded up, I know we touched on this last week. When they traded up the second time, I thought for sure it was going to be Malachi Starks. I was like, man, they're about to go over the moon and take 2 dogs with 2 picks, and everyone's going to be happy. Now they end up getting Pierce, and I didn't see very many people upset. I think the most people I saw upset was just like, hey, now we don't have a first-round pick next year. But hey, that's kind of what it costs in terms of taking 2 first-round picks in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if those guys, if both of them end up being the players that they think they are, dude, that's a heck of a deal.
Worth every penny.
Absolutely. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Now, talking about camp rumors.
Here we go.
Yep. Let's talk
Falcons.
Yeah. Let's talk Michael Penix. Rumor has it that Kirk is looking good, better than Penix. Is Kirko Chains back? Is it swag surf time with number 18 in Atlanta?
You like that? You like that?
Do you like it, Eddie? Do you like it, Andy?
No. But this would be so perfect for the Falcons that Michael Penix goes out. He has issues. He throws a bunch of picks in the first game, and they bring in Kirk Cousins. That would just be so classic, right? And That is the last thing I want to see right now. Okay, Kirk Cousins should be
Does
the
it matter?
backup.
Does it matter? Do we care as long as the quarterback is good? Does it matter which one's pulling the trigger?
I just
No.
I think it's time to move on to Michael Penix. And Kirk Cousins, fine, old. Andy, you even said it yourself.
I know. I'm just saying. No, I didn't because of the Achilles. But I'm just saying, whoever's better, play the guy who's better. Like, and I see Alex Page saying it does matter. I really want it to be Michael Penix. That's who I'm pulling for.
100%.
But if the dude's not doing it, and you got Kirko back there, and he can come out and give some cool sound bites and throw some touchdowns, let's do it.
But let's all slow the roll, okay? This is training camp in Flowery Branch, right? I mean, it's the underwear Olympics, like we like to call it, right? I mean, come on. Let's just see how the season plays out. And I don't know. Michael Penix is my guy. I love the guy. I think he's going to be our starting quarterback.
I'll say this about Penix. When I look back on I didn't watch very many Penix games coming out of college, but it's hard not to look back on that game versus Texas that he played at Washington and just talk about how deadly accurate he was.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the top performances I've seen from a college quarterback in a college football playoff. I mean, every deep ball he threw was on the money. And I know he had some horses out wide, but it was awesome to see. And when I look back on how the Falcons ended last year, I liked, although they didn't make the playoffs, I liked their decision to give Penix that run because Raheem Morris subtly bought himself some time. Because if they stuck with Kirk and you suck it up those last 6 games and you don't make the change, then what's the reasoning for wanting to get another year? What's your pitch for the future?
Right.
If you just stuck with the old veteran. A little maneuvering there. And I think Penix is going to be a good quarterback. I think Penix is going to have a good year. The question is, for me, really, it's the guys around him. I don't think Penix is going to lose you the game. Now, Raheem Morris could lose you some games. He lost him at least 2 last year. But I will say this, and Alex Page, you bring up a good point. It's good for the Falcons that Kirk looks good. And who knows, maybe Eddie and Andy, maybe Kirk Cousins looking good is just that. It's just propaganda to get trade value out of them.
Could be. Yeah.
Maybe it is.
Well, Alex brings up a good point because there's going to be some injuries, right? There's always something like, well, whoa, where did that come from? We thought it was Justin Fields with his toe, but he's fine. But there's going to be an injury before we get to the regular season. And maybe Kirk is dealt at that point, right? And it takes care of itself.
And let's not forget, Michael Penix has 2 knee issues too. So, I mean, it's good to have.
I don't want to go down that road.
I'm just saying it's good to have a solid backup. I know it sucks you're paying the backup $200 million, but it's a good problem to have. So.
Yeah, I do think it's fair to say that the Falcons probably have one of, if not the best, backup quarterback situations in the National Football League.
Duo, no doubt.
Now, you're paying a lot for the backup, but like y'all said, if you're winning, smooths over everything.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Andy Page said it showed what Penix can do in those situations he was thrown into last year where they needed to win to make the playoffs. I'm excited to see what Penix can do. For people who I've talked to and know me for years, I'm a sucker for a Sean McVay, those West Coast offenses, and I think they made the right hire in terms of offensive coordinator. I know he's young, and I know you're never going to agree with 100% of what he calls, but I think it's what every NFL franchise should do. Should go try to, rip off the McVay, the Shanahan systems. So I'm excited to see what they can do this year. I mean, guys, we talk about Penix, we talk about London. You also have one of the best running backs in the damn football league, and Bijan Robinson in the backfield.
He's electric.
And I said trade Tyler Algiers. He's one of the best second running backs.
1-2 punch.
Tyler Algier coming in there. Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
1-2 punch. I think it's an exciting time, and I know Falcon fans don't want to get too optimistic because every time you get optimistic, they let you down. But maybe the roles are reversed here. Maybe it's the Braves letting you down.
Yeah.
And now the Falcons going to bring you back up. Or they're both going to suck, and Georgia will win a national championship, and things will go back to normal.
Hey, if the Dogs win
let me ask you guys that. Would you guys take the Falcons sucking, the Braves sucking for another Georgia national championship right now?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
I agree with you. I agree.
Eddie, I just want one Georgia national title while I'm still covering the team. I don't know what my future holds, but hey,
you've already got two, right?
Yeah.
While you're in school.
I'm here, while I'm in school. So here in Athens, I would love to see them get one. I would love to see the streets in front of my apartment just filled with people, filled with the masses.
So were you not here when they won?
I was not. I was at another school, so I transferred into UGA.
That's right.
So,
Yeah. No, it was crazy.
One as a student will be cool.
That first one.
I wasn't.
Let's put up hashtag do it for Harrison. Let's do that. Do it for Harrison.
I wasn't here in 1942 when Eddie saw them do it. So
and Eddie was 30.
I really don't like you, Harrison.
He was 38 when they won that one. So that's the thing.
That's right. We're 38.
Gentlemen, it was a great show. Again, we appreciate Radi and Nabulsi for hopping on here.
That's great.
And joining us. That was awesome. We do have, I'm not going to announce it yet. We won't announce it yet because we're going to give them time till we get closer just to reconfirm. We're going to have a pretty big guest on next week.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, tell your friends. Peach State Power Hour, the UGA Sports YouTube channel. Folks, if you're over here from the vent, thank you so much for supporting us. We got 2 event legends over here doing the show each and every Sunday.
Legend? I don't know about legend.
Long time mainstays over on the vent,
okay,
even through the mergers.
And
Larry
great
Glover
comments tonight. Thank you so much for contributing, guys.
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much. Come back next week at 7:30. Huge guest coming on next week. We're super excited to have him. Y'all are going to love him. Chris Hayes, shout out Chris Hayes. He had our great friend Eddie from Acworth on his show Thursday. We appreciate that.
Coach Hayes. Great breakdowns of Georgia Bulldogs, analytical stuff.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, I can't wait. Next Sunday, can't come here quick enough. We will be another week into Georgia Fall Camp. We'll be another week into, I believe the Falcons will have their first preseason game. So maybe we will talk some preseason.
Yeah, they're coming up. So yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, this week is going to be big. A lot of football going on, guys. It's being right there. Oh, it's great. I'm probably going to get fired for leaving work so much, but it's okay. So.
No, you won't. Turn it on.
And if he does, he can come back over here. Yeah. So, anyways, we'll see you next week.